Ice breath. This is a really interesting depiction of the progression of time for an iceberg, or icebergs of Greenland. It's interesting how much has changed, and I think it was a great creative idea on showing this over the span of, I think, 5 years. The black and white really highlights the lighting as well. The light that's reflecting off the icebergs. The shots with the sun were really beautiful. And yeah, I just thought that this journey you took us on is very needed. And the music as well by the Seattle Symphony Orchestra and Cantaloupe Music, I believe. Beautiful music. I don't know if it was written just for this, but it went really well with this piece. And yeah, I think this was just depicted in so many 5 years in such a short span of time for us to watch. Really shows us what's happening out there in real time, in a sense. So great work and good luck.
Ice breath. I really loved this. I thought this was so well done. It wasn't rushed, which I feel like when you are approaching a film the way that they did, where you're showcasing what is essentially a time lapse. It's not a time lapse in like the traditional way that we think of it, but it essentially is a time lapse because you're looking and you're reviewing the same kind of land, the same area in general over a 5-year period. And that is just such a wild, dedicated, work to commit yourself to. And I think that when you're using something like a time lapse, there is a tendency to rush it, to make it the most, not quick in like a short period of time, but like to try to show how quickly something changes. And I think, like I said, that a lot of the time in a time lapse, they kind of rush that. I really liked that they didn't rush this, that they let you kind of absorb the beauty and let you take in the changes, because it's subtle and then it sneaks up on you, where it kind of happens slowly and then all at once, where moment to moment you don't necessarily notice it too much, but then by the time you're over that halfway point and you're getting closer to the end, you're realizing just how much less you're seeing. You're seeing less ice, you're seeing less. And I think that by not rushing it, it really let that kind of realization sweep over people. And I think that was really, really powerful. Also, I loved the use of black and white because, to me, along with the music, definitely, which was beautiful, and I thought it was so great to have the kind of ebb and flow of an orchestra, of that kind of piece, where there are moments where it's like swelling and it's like up into a crescendo, and then you have these these not lulls, but you have these slower, quieter points in the music as well. But I loved the choice of black and white because, to me, it almost felt like mourning something that is still happening, mourning something that hasn't fully eclipsed yet, but is definitely headed in that path. And who knows if we can ever truly reverse it, but at least we could hopefully potentially slow it down. And I love that kind of choice, and I don't know if that's what they were going for, but that's definitely what I took away from it, of this kind of like gentle grief almost of what it once was and what it is slowly kind of deteriorating to. And I thought it was dramatic, and like I said, for me personally, I thought it was really powerful and really impactful, and I absolutely loved it.
I liked Ice Breath. Who knew watching literal snow melt would be so interesting? Who knew watching ice melt would be so interesting? For 42 minutes, you know? I think y'all made it work. I think it was because you watch it and you're like, okay, what is this? And then you start to realize, like, how did they get this? Like, they had to go to the snow caps, you know, and like to get as smooth as shots as they were could not have been easy and was is an impressive feat. And then also when it's paired with the music, I think the pairing of the music and the shots like add a level of like drama and intensity that on the surface a film of watching ice melt you wouldn't think has, but it works. Like truly I was emotionally moved, you know? And then also like you always hear, oh, the ice caps are melting, the snow's melting, whatever, whatever, global warming, whatever. But it's different to see it, and like it's unsettling, disturbing, not disturbing, but like moving, intense to like see it happen before your eyes, you know. So overall, great idea. Well done.
Well, this was absolutely fucking beautiful. Excuse my language. And you know that too. I was in awe for the whole. Was it 40 minutes? Yeah. Incredible. Ice breath. Yeah. It had an eeriness about it, um, though so essential. Um, I thought I read the description that you had on Vimeo, and at the end it said it's an experimental fusion exploring the vast, inscrutable meanings of climate change, and I thought it totally embodied that. So yeah, really great. Damn, I wish I was there. I felt like I was dancing um, with the icebergs.